In the vast expanse of space, countless stars twinkled like diamonds on black velvet. Among these stars, many alien races had built their homes and formed a great alliance. They called it the Galactic Alliance. It was a group of different species who worked together to keep peace and order in the universe. At the heart of this alliance was a giant space station. It looked like a shiny metal flower floating in space. This was where the leaders of all the alien races met to make big decisions. Today, the station buzzed with excitement. Something new was about to happen. Admiral Jae-hwan stood at a large window, looking out at the stars. He was tall and thin, with blue skin and large, dark eyes. As the head of the Alliance's military, he had seen many things in his long life. But today felt different. A young officer named Jae-seok hurried up to him. "Admiral, sir, the council is ready for you," he said, a little out of breath. Jae-hwan nodded and followed Jae-seok to the meeting room. As they walked, he asked, "Have you heard the rumors, Jae-seok?" The young officer nodded eagerly. "Yes, sir. They say a new species has been found. Is it true?" "We'll find out soon enough," Jae-hwan said with a small smile. They entered a large round room. In the center was a table shaped like a ring. Around it sat beings of all shapes and sizes. Some had scales, others had fur. Some had many eyes, others had none at all. But they were all important leaders in the Galactic Alliance. As Jae-hwan took his seat, the room fell quiet. An old alien with wrinkled green skin stood up. This was Dae-jung, the head of the Galactic Council. "Friends," Dae-jung said in a deep voice, "we have gathered here today because of some very interesting news. Our explorers have made contact with a new species." Excited whispers filled the room. A new species was always big news. Dae-jung raised his hand for silence. "They call themselves humans. They come from a planet called Earth, in a part of space we haven't explored much." He touched a button on the table, and a hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed a picture of Earth, a beautiful blue and green planet. "The humans have just figured out how to travel faster than light," Dae-jung continued. "They're eager to join the galactic community." A furry alien with 4 arms spoke up. "But are they ready? Do they understand our ways?" Jae-hwan listened carefully. As head of the military, he always worried about security. "What about their weapons?" he asked. "Are they a threat?" Dae-jung shook his head. "From what we've seen, their technology is basic. They're newcomers to space travel. We don't think they're dangerous." Another alien, this one with shimmering scales, laughed. "Sounds like they're just little babies in the galaxy. Cute, but not very useful." Many others nodded in agreement. Humans seemed harmless, and maybe a bit backward. But Jae-hwan wasn't so sure. He had a feeling, a gut instinct that there was more to these humans than met the eye. "I think we should invite them here," he said suddenly. The room went quiet again. "Let them show us what they can do. It's better to know for sure than to guess." Dae-jung thought for a moment, then nodded. "A wise suggestion, Admiral. We'll invite the humans to send a delegation. They can show us their best technology, and we'll decide if they're ready to join the Alliance." As the meeting ended and the aliens filed out, Jae-hwan stayed behind. He looked at the hologram of Earth, still floating in the center of the room. "What secrets do you hold?" He murmured to himself. Something told him that the arrival of humans was going to change everything. He just didn't know how much. As he left the room, Jae-hwan's mind was already racing. He had to prepare for the humans' arrival. Something big was coming, he could feel it. And whatever it was, he wanted the Galactic Alliance to be ready. Little did Jae-hwan know, the humans were about to surprise everyone in ways no one could have imagined. The galaxy was about to change forever. The day of first contact had finally arrived. The Galactic Alliance's grand meeting hall was filled with excited chatter. Aliens of all shapes and sizes waited eagerly to see the humans for the first time. Admiral Jae-hwan stood near the front. his blue skin shimmering under the bright lights. He felt both excited and nervous. What would these humans be like? Suddenly, a hush fell over the room. The big doors at the end of the hall slowly opened. Everyone held their breath. In walked a group of strange creatures. They stood on two legs and had no fur, scales, or tentacles. Their skin came in different shades of pink, brown, and black. They had hair on top of their heads in various colors. These were the humans. At the front of the group was a woman with long black hair and dark eyes. She wore a sleek, silver outfit that sparkled as she moved. This was Ambassador Su-Hyun, the leader of the human delegation. Dae-jung, the head of the Galactic Council, stepped forward to greet them. "Welcome, humans, to the Galactic Alliance," he said in a deep, friendly voice. Su-Hyun bowed slightly. "Thank you for having us," she replied with a warm smile. "We're honored to be here." As the humans spread out to meet the different alien groups, Jae-hwan watched them carefully. They seemed so ordinary. Could they really be as advanced as his gut feeling suggested? He approached Su-Hyun, who was talking to a group of furry aliens. "Ambassador," he said, bowing his head. "I'm Admiral Jae-hwan, head of the Alliance's military forces." Su-Hyun turned to him, her eyes sparkling with interest. "Admiral, it's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard a lot about your impressive fleet." Jae-hwan felt a twinge of pride. "Thank you. I'm curious about your own ships. We don't know much about human technology." A flicker of amusement crossed Su-Hyun's face. "Oh, we're still learning," she said modestly. "Our ships are functional." Across the room, Jae-seok was chatting with a human man named Dong-hyun. "So, what's it like on Earth?" Jae-seok asked eagerly. Dong-hyun grinned. "It's beautiful. We have huge oceans, tall mountains, and forests that stretch as far as the eye can see. And the cities, they light up at night like stars on the ground." Jae-seok's eyes widened. "It sounds amazing. But what about your space technology? How advanced is it?" Dong-hyun shrugged. "We're managing. Our ships get us where we need to go." As the day went on, more and more aliens talked to the humans. They all came away with the same impression. The humans were friendly and eager to learn, but their technology seemed basic. Later, Jae-hwan met with Dae-jung in a private room. "What do you think?" Dae-jung asked. Jae-hwan frowned. "They're not what I expected. They seem almost primitive compared to us." Dae-jung nodded. "Many on the council feel the same. Some are even questioning if humans are ready to join the alliance." But something still bothered Jae-hwan. The humans were too calm, too confident for a species just entering the galactic stage. And Ambassador Su-Hyun's eyes had held a hint of something. Amusement. Secrecy. "I think we should invite them to show us their best technology," Jae-hwan said. "Maybe there's more to them than we can see." Dae-jung thought for a moment, then agreed. "Very well. We'll ask them to bring their most advanced ship to our next meeting." When Jae-hwan told Su-Hyun about the invitation, he washed her face carefully. For just a second, he thought he saw a flash of excitement in her eyes. But it was gone so quickly, he wasn't sure if he had imagined it. "We'd be honored," Su-Hyun said with a polite smile. "We'll bring our best ship to show you." As the humans prepared to leave, Jae-hwan couldn't shake the feeling that something big was about to happen. The humans were hiding something, he was sure of it now. What would they bring to the next meeting? Would it be another simple, unremarkable ship, or was there more to human technology than met the eye? As he watched their ship disappear into the stars, Jae-hwan knew one thing for certain. The next meeting was going to change everything. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what surprises the humans would bring. Back on Earth, excitement filled the air. The human government had received the Galactic Alliance's invitation to showcase their best technology. Leaders from all over the world met to decide what to do. In a big, bright room with a round table, important people sat and talked. Some wore fancy suits, others wore military uniforms. They all looked serious. "We need to show them our true strength," said a woman with short gray hair. She was the president of the World Council. A man in a military uniform stood up. He had a stern face and lots of medals on his chest. "I agree. It's time to reveal the Thunderbolt." Whispers spread around the room. The Thunderbolt was Earth's biggest secret. It was a huge battleship, more advanced than anything the galaxy had ever seen. "But is it wise?" asked another leader. "What if they see us as a threat?" The president smiled. "That's why we'll send our best captain, someone who can show our strength, but also our desire for peace." All eyes turned to a young man sitting quietly at the end of the table. This was Captain Ta-hyun, the most talented starship captain Earth had ever produced. Ta-hyun looked up, his dark eyes serious. "I understand the importance of this mission," he said. "I won't let Earth down." The president nodded. "It's settled then. Captain Ta-hyun will lead the Thunderbolt to the Galactic Alliance." Over the next few weeks, Earth was busy with preparations. The Thunderbolt, hidden in a secret base on the moon, was made ready for its big reveal. Captain Ta-hyun spent his days studying the alien races he would meet. He learned their customs and practiced their greetings. At night, he stood on the moon base, looking up at the stars, wondering what adventures awaited him. One evening, as Ta-hyun was checking the Thunderbolt systems, his second-in-command, Jisoo, approached him. She was a tall woman with bright eyes and a quick smile. "Are you nervous, Captain?" she asked. Ta-hyun shook his head. "Not nervous. Just ready. We've been hiding our true capabilities for so long. It feels good to finally show who we really are." Jisoo nodded. "The crew is excited too, but some are worried. What if the aliens don't like what they see?" Ta-hyun turned to face her. "Then we'll show them that we come in peace. The Thunderbolt isn't just a weapon. It's a symbol of how far we've come and how far we can go together with other races." As the day of departure grew near, the whole world held its breath. This mission would decide Earth's place in the galaxy. The night before they left, Ta-hyun received a call from Ambassador Soo-yeon. Her face appeared on a big screen in his room. "Captain," she said with a smile, "are you ready to surprise the galaxy?" Ta-hyun nodded. "Yes, Ambassador. But I have to ask, why did we pretend to be less advanced?" Soo-yeon's smile turned mysterious. "Sometimes, Captain, it's better to be underestimated. The Alliance thought we were new to space travel. Now we can show them who we really are on our own terms." The next morning, Earth watched as the Thunderbolt rose from its hidden base on the moon. It was massive, sleek, and beautiful. Its hull shimmered with a strange, silvery light that seemed to bend the stars around it. As the ship prepared to jump to faster-than-light speed, Ta-hyun stood on the bridge. He looked at his crew, then at the image of Earth on the main screen. "Let's make history," he said. With a flash of light, the Thunderbolt disappeared into the depths of space. Earth held its collective breath, waiting to hear how the galaxy would react to their true power. In the Galactic Alliance headquarters, Admiral Jae-won stood by the window, watching the stars. He didn't know why, but he felt that everything was about to change. Little did he know, the biggest surprise of his life was on its way. The day had finally arrived. The Galactic Alliance's main space station buzzed with excitement. Aliens from all corners of the galaxy had gathered to see the humans' best technology. Admiral Jae-won stood in the control room, his blue skin shimmering with anticipation. Beside him, Da-jung, the head of the Galactic Council, looked nervous. "Do you think they'll show us anything impressive?" Da-jung asked. Jae-won shrugged. "We'll soon find out." Suddenly, alarms started blaring. A young officer named Jae-seok rushed in, his eyes wide. "Admiral, something huge just appeared on our scanners." Jae-won hurried to the main view screen. What he saw made his jaw drop. A massive ship had appeared out of nowhere. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. The ship was sleek and beautiful, with a hull that seemed to bend light around it. It was easily 10 times larger than the biggest Alliance battleship. By the stars, Dae-jung whispered, "Is that the human ship?" As if in answer, a message came through. "Galactic Alliance, this is Captain Ta-hyun of the Earth ship Thunderbolt. We come in peace and friendship." The control room erupted in chaos. Aliens of all species were shouting, some in fear, others in awe. Jae-hwan quickly called for silence. "Captain Ta-hyun," he said, trying to keep his voice steady, "we welcome you. Your ship is quite impressive." There was a hint of amusement in Ta-hyun's voice as he replied, "Thank you, Admiral. We're glad you like it. May we dock with your station?" Jae-hwan looked at Dae-jung, who nodded slowly. "You may, Captain. We look forward to meeting you." As the Thunderbolt moved closer, everyone could see just how massive it was. It dwarfed every other ship around the station. Its hull shimmered with strange energy, and there were weapons unlike anything the Alliance had ever seen. In the docking bay, a crowd gathered to watch the humans arrive. The airlock opened, and out stepped Captain Ta-hyun, followed by his crew. They wore sleek uniforms that seemed to shift colors as they moved. Ambassador Su-yeon was there to greet them. She smiled at the shocked faces of the aliens around her. "May I present Captain Ta-hyun and the crew of the Thunderbolt," she said proudly. Ta-hyun bowed respectfully to Admiral Jae-hwan and Dae-jung. "Thank you for having us," he said. "We're honored to be here." Jae-hwan couldn't take his eyes off the human ship. "Captain, your vessel is extraordinary. We had no idea humans had such advanced technology." Ta-hyun smiled. "We believed it was best to reveal our true capabilities when the time was right. We hope this demonstration shows our readiness to join the galactic community as equals." Dae-jung, still looking stunned, managed to nod. "It certainly does, Captain. Perhaps we could get a tour of your ship." "Of course," Ta-hyun replied. "We'd be happy to show you around." As they walked towards the Thunderbolt, aliens of all kinds pressed forward to get a better look. Some looked afraid, others excited. But all of them were amazed. Inside the ship, the Alliance leaders were even more impressed. The technology they saw was years, maybe centuries ahead of their own. Holograms floated in the air, responding to the crew's thoughts. The engine room hummed with power that seemed to bend the laws of physics. "This is incredible," Jae-hwan said, his eyes wide as he looked around the bridge. "How did you keep this a secret for so long?" Su-yeon stepped forward. "We've been observing the galaxy for many years, Admiral. We wanted to understand the political landscape before revealing ourselves fully." As the tour ended, Dae-jung turned to Ta-hyun. "Captain, I think it's clear that we severely underestimated humanity. Your people have earned a place of respect in the Galactic Alliance." Ta-hyun nodded gratefully. "Thank you, sir. We look forward to working together for the betterment of all species." As they left the Thunderbolt, Jae-hwan couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. He was impressed, yes, but also a little worried. The humans had hidden their true strength so well. What else were they capable of? One thing was certain: the arrival of the Thunderbolt had changed everything. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted, and no one knew what would happen next. The day after the Thunderbolt's arrival, the Galactic Alliance was still buzzing with excitement. Everyone wanted to see what the human ship could do. Captain Ta-hyun had agreed to give a demonstration of the Thunderbolt's capabilities. A large group of alien ships gathered near the Alliance space station. Admiral Jae-hwan stood on the bridge of his own ship, watching closely. Next to him, Dae-jung fidgeted nervously. "Are you sure this is safe?" Dae-jung asked. Jae-hwan nodded. "Captain Ta-hyun assured me it would be. Let's see what they can do." The Thunderbolt moved into position. It looked even more impressive in open space, its hull shimmering like a living thing. Captain Ta-hyun's voice came over the comm system. "We'll start with a demonstration of our propulsion system." Suddenly, the Thunderbolt vanished. 1 second it was there, the next it was gone. Gasps of surprise filled the Alliance ships. Where did they go? Someone shouted. Then, just as quickly, the Thunderbolt reappeared on the other side of the gathered ships. It had moved faster than anything Jae-hwan had ever seen. Impossible, Jae-hwan muttered. No ship can move that fast. Tai-hyun's voice came again, a hint of pride in his tone. That was our short-range jump drive. It allows us to move instantly across small distances. Next, the Thunderbolt demonstrated its weapons. Beams of energy shot out, cutting through space. They hit some target drones with perfect accuracy. The drones didn't just explode, they seemed to disappear completely. Our phase cannons, Tai-hyun explained. They shift the target partially out of our dimension. Jae-hwan felt a chill run down his spine. Such weapons could change the face of warfare. But the Thunderbolt wasn't done. It created a force field so strong that nothing could penetrate it. It launched fighters that moved like nothing the aliens had ever seen. Each demonstration left the watchers more amazed than the last. Finally, Tai-hyun said, "For our last demonstration, we'll show you our main cannon." The front of the Thunderbolt opened up, revealing a massive gun. Energy began to build up, making the space around it ripple. "Don't worry," Tai-hyun assured them. "We're aiming at an empty area of space." The cannon fired. A beam of pure white energy shot out, so bright it was hard to look at. When it faded, a huge section of space where it had hit looked different. The stars had moved, as if that piece of space had been twisted. Silence fell over the watching ships. No one could believe what they had just seen. Jae-hwan found his voice first. "Captain Tai-hyun, what was that?" "We call it the space-fold cannon," Tai-hyun replied. "It briefly warps the fabric of space itself." As the demonstration ended, Jae-hwan turned to Dae-jung. The old alien's green skin had turned pale. "This changes everything," Dae-jung said quietly. Jae-hwan nodded. The humans weren't just advanced. They were beyond anything the Alliance had imagined possible. Later, at a meeting with the human representatives, Jae-hwan couldn't help but ask, "Why reveal all this to us now?" Ambassador Su-yeon smiled. "We believe in peace, Admiral. But we also believe in strength. By showing you what we can do, we hope to prevent any misunderstandings." Captain Tai-hyun added, "We don't want war. We want to work with the Alliance, but we needed you to understand that we come as equals, not as a primitive species to be guided." Jae-hwan looked at them both, seeing them in a new light. The humans were powerful, yes, but they were also wise. They had hidden their strength until they could reveal it on their own terms. As the meeting ended, Jae-hwan realized that the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, not with a whisper, but with a roar that no one could ignore. The age of humanity had begun, and Jae-hwan couldn't help but wonder, what other surprises did these remarkable beings have in store for the galaxy? The day after the Thunderbolt's amazing show, the Galactic High Command met for an emergency meeting. The big room was filled with nervous energy. Leaders from all over the galaxy sat around a large round table, talking in worried voices. Admiral Jae-hwan walked in, his face serious. He sat down next to Dae-jung, who looked like he hadn't slept all night. "This meeting will come to order," Dae-jung said, his voice shaky. The room went quiet. A tall alien with 4 arms stood up. "We must talk about the humans," he said. "Their ship, their weapons. They're too powerful." Another alien, covered in shiny scales, nodded. "What if they decide to attack us? We couldn't stop them." The room erupted in shouts and arguments. Some aliens wanted to make friends with the humans right away. Others wanted to ask them to leave and never come back. A few even suggested trying to steal the humans' technology. Admiral Jae-hwan listened to it all, his mind racing. Finally, he stood up. The room went quiet again. "Friends," he said, "I understand your fear. The humans have surprised us all. But I don't think they want to hurt us. How can you be sure? Someone asked. Jae-won thought about Captain Ta-hyun's words. If they wanted to attack, they could have done it already. Instead, they came to us openly. They want to join us, not fight us. Just then, the door opened. Ambassador Soo-yeon walked in, her face calm and friendly. The room went so quiet you could hear a pin drop. I hope I'm not interrupting, she said with a small smile. I thought you might have questions for me. Dae-jung, looking surprised, nodded. Yes, Ambassador. Please, join us. As Soo-yeon sat down, the aliens began asking questions. They were still scared, but curious too. Why did you hide your true strength from us? One alien asked. Soo-yeon's answer was simple. We wanted to understand the galaxy first. We've been watching and learning for a long time. We didn't want to scare anyone by showing up with big ships right away. But now you have scared us, another alien said. Soo-yeon nodded, looking a bit sad. We're sorry for that. We hoped that by showing our strength, we could skip any misunderstandings. We want to be friends, but equal friends. The talks went on for hours. Soo-yeon answered every question patiently. She talked about Earth, about human history, and about their hopes for the future. Slowly, the mood in the room began to change. Jae-won watched with growing respect. Soo-yeon was smart and kind. She knew just what to say to calm everyone down. By the end of the meeting, many of the aliens were smiling and nodding. Finally, Dae-jung spoke up. I think it's time we voted. Should we accept humans into the Galactic Alliance? The room was quiet as everyone thought hard. Then, one by one, they started to raise their hands. More and more hands went up, until almost everyone was voting yes. Dae-jung looked relieved. Then it settled. Humans will join the alliance as full members. Soo-yeon stood up, her eyes shining. Thank you all. Earth is honored to join you. We promise to use our strength to help keep peace in the galaxy. As the meeting ended, Jae-won walked over to Soo-yeon. That was impressive, he said. You've changed a lot of minds today. Soo-yeon smiled at him. Thank you, Admiral. But this is just the beginning. We have a lot of work to do. Jae-won nodded. He knew she was right. The galaxy was changing fast, and everyone would need to work together to keep up. As he watched Soo-yeon leave, Jae-won felt excited for the first time in years. The humans were full of surprises, and he had a feeling they weren't done surprising the galaxy yet. The age of humanity had truly begun, and Jae-won couldn't wait to see what would happen next. A month had passed since the humans joined the Galactic Alliance. The huge space station that served as the Alliance's headquarters was busier than ever. Aliens of all kinds rushed about, many of them heading to meet with the new human representatives. Admiral Jae-won stood by a large window, watching ships come and go. He smiled as he saw a small human ship zip past, its engines glowing with strange energy. The humans had been sharing some of their technology, and already the galaxy was changing. Quite a sight, isn't it? A voice said behind him. Jae-won turned to see Captain Ta-hyun walking up. The human captain looked relaxed in his shimmering uniform. Indeed it is, Jae-won replied. I never thought I'd see so many different ships working together like this. Ta-hyun nodded. It's what we hoped for. Unity and progress. The two of them had become friends over the past month. At first, Jae-won had been wary of the powerful human captain. But Ta-hyun had proved to be kind and wise, always ready to help. Come on, Ta-hyun said with a grin. I want to show you something. They walked through the station until they reached a new area. The sign on the door read Human Alliance Joint Research Center. Inside, the room was full of activity. Humans and aliens worked side by side, studying strange machines and glowing screens. A young alien named Jae-seok rushed up to them. Admiral, Captain, you're just in time. We're about to test the new faster-than-light drive. They gathered around a large screen. On it, they could see a small ship floating in space. It was a mix of human and alien technology. "Ready?" a human scientist asked. Everyone nodded. The scientist pressed a button. On the screen, the ship seemed to stretch for a second, then vanished in a flash of light. A moment later, it reappeared much farther away. The room erupted in cheers. Aliens hugged humans, jumping up and down with joy. "It worked," Jae-seok shouted. "We can now travel 10 times faster than before." Jae-won felt a lump in his throat. This was why the humans had joined them. Not to conquer, but to help everyone grow. Later, Jae-won and Ta-hyun sat in a quiet room, drinking earth tea. It had become popular among the aliens for its calming effect. "You know," Jae-won said, "a month ago, I was worried about what your arrival meant for the galaxy. Now, I can't imagine the Alliance without humans." Ta-hyun smiled. "We're glad to be here, but our journey is just beginning." Jae-won nodded. "What do you think the future holds?" Ta-hyun looked thoughtful. "Great things, I hope. There's so much to explore, so much to learn. And now, we can do it together." Just then, Ambassador Soo-yeon walked in. She looked excited. "Good news," she said. "The Council has approved our proposal. We're going to send a joint human-alien mission to explore beyond the edge of known space." Jae-won felt a thrill of excitement. The edge of known space. No one had ever gone beyond it before. "When do we leave?" Ta-hyun asked, his eyes shining. Soo-yeon grinned. "In 3 months. And guess what? You two are going to lead the mission." Jae-won and Ta-hyun looked at each other in surprise, then broke into huge smiles. As Soo-yeon left to spread the news, the two friends stood by the window again. They looked out at the stars, thinking about the adventure ahead. A human and an alien, leading a mission into the unknown. Jae-won said, "Who would have thought it possible a month ago?" Ta-hyun put a hand on his friend's shoulder. "That's the beauty of the universe, Jae-won. Anything is possible if we work together." As they watched, a group of ships flew past, human, alien, and some that were a mix of both. It was a sign of the new era that had begun. The galaxy had changed forever, and with humans now part of the Galactic Alliance, the future looked brighter than ever before.